Hello, and welcome to the Albright Scholar for June 2024. My name is John Pankratz. I teach history at Albright, and each month it's my privilege and pleasure to welcome BCTV viewers and residents of Greater Reading to take a glimpse inside our learning community up on North 13th Street, to look at the work being done by teachers and students, and to think about its impact on all of us. We're going to be talking about culture today, and I thought I'd just mention an Albright scholar who passed away in the last 2 weeks. Dr. Patricia Hummel was a force on our campus for more than 50 years, and she was a force in the Reading community, serving on the board of the Public Library, of the Reading Symphony, the Association of Americans Association of University Women, and many other worthwhile groups, including the Reading School Board. We are going to miss Pat up at Albright, but I think the entire city will as well. I just wanted you to know that. Pat would have been a fan of our topic today. We're going to be talking about Albright's famous ACRE program, the Albright Creative and Research Experience. And I'm very happy to say that that's continuing this summer with about a dozen teams of students and faculty members pursuing a whole range of interesting topics in the arts, in the social sciences, in history, and other fields as well. And in future shows in July and August, we'll have a chance to catch up with some of those teams. Today we're talking about dance. Yeah, and joining me are two wonderful dancers and dear friends. Lucy Mendez is a junior at Albright. And Lucy, remind me your major.
I'm a theater major right now.
Fully theater major. And of course, David Tanner is here, as he's been on many shows. He is our Dean of Arts, all things artistic at the college. And you two are working as partners on a project, aren't you?
Yes, we are.
Yeah. Lucy, why would a student, when you have a beautiful, refulgent day like today, want to be doing hard work, hard academic work, rather than just spending the summer playing?
You know, that's really fair. Usually I spend my summers going back home to Jersey with my family, visiting beaches and such, but
okay.
I really felt like this research that I'm embarking on, like dance, is really important to me, and Albright hasn't fully explored the world of dance. We only have a couple clubs, and we kind of explore it every so often with like events like air bands where students will be able to make their own choreography and stuff, and I felt like Albright could really tap into more of its dance history and really do more with it, which is what led me to my research.
Exactly. And it pairs with some of the projects that I've done in the past where we've been trying to piece together the history of various art forms at Albright College. Yes. So some folks know that we're coming up on the 100-year anniversary of the Domino Players. We're coming up on 35th year anniversary for the Center for the Arts itself before too long. 50 years for the Friedman Gallery. So during my 13 plus years here, I've been trying to kind of collect the history of different art forms that have been on campus. So when Lucy brought this project forward, I was like, this is a great opportunity to kind of look at what has happened with dance on campus. And it's been intertwined with different things, as we found out just even with the initial research, which we'll get into more of that here in just a bit.
Great, great. Of course, we've featured the Domino Players often. We've talked about the entire arts calendar.
Yes.
Every fall as we look forward and as the community looks forward to those things that are happening at Albright. We haven't talked very much about dance, and that's sort of a shame because it is surprisingly prominent in the culture and the life of students at the college. We don't offer a dance major. We don't have a dance faculty here. We don't have a committed dance space. And yet students come in with past training, an enormous desire to perform, and really through their own energy, they've done some remarkable performing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's part of what we're researching. And so we started kind of looking at the last 13 years already. When I was here, some of the things that have been done, and you've mentioned students who've come in before. We've had a whole cadre of students, primarily in theater. They tend to be, but not always.
Not always.
They come in and they often will do like a senior thesis project or something like that that may culminate in a performance. So they've kind of studied things on their own. Maybe they've been part of the Albright College dance team or part of Zion's step and dance team, and then they go on to do that. But we've also had things like the International Student Association
Yes.
create amazing events and projects around that. You know, whether
Caribbean
it's
Culture Club,
the
for
Caribbean
example.
Culture Club is another one, right? So whether it's showcasing their own artistic dance forms or creating an event where many cultures can do that, we've seen that, but we haven't really documented it. So that's a good starting point. But there's other research that's going to happen, and Lucy can talk a little bit more about that too. Yeah.
Yeah. So while I'm currently going through a bunch of information about the past few years at Albright, I'm also going to be looking into other colleges and seeing what dance programs they offer there, to see what information I can find out about, like what kind of classes they teach, what types of dance they use, what their dance faculty does to even get to that position, and seeing how any of that could be brought towards Albright. I'm also going to be looking at international dance, cultural dance, dance therapy, because when people think of dance, a lot of people think about theater or they think about
Ballet, maybe.
and stuff like that, when there's so many more facets of dance that remains unexplored. And so I really want Albright to be able to know all of that information and be able to do anything what they would like to do with that information in regards to dance. And so many people come who are dancers when maybe there are people who would like to learn at a dance class or Zumba or anything like that.
Right, and becomes sort of a recruiting tool. It builds possible curriculum in that field. We take stock of what we're already doing, and then it becomes a launching pad for
Exactly, yeah.
new endeavors.
I think
How great.
That's a great point too, because there are already things that we are doing that can be part of something like a certificate program. And those certificates were just launched that comprise like 4 different courses across disciplines. But with the vocal performance major that's happened now, and that's new news as well, many of those students in musical theater, for example, are often cross-trained, right? In dance, as well as vocal performance, as well as dramatic theatrical performance. So this is kind of a progression, I think, in terms of the investment in the arts. And I think it will yield some interesting results for us. But we have to be strategic about it and prove also that we've had a history here.
Yes.
We just need to really expand on that, because there has been clearly from that history a yearning for it, a request for it, a development for it, and so that's part of what we'll do in our research this year is uncover that.
That's great. This is going to be so gratifying to those alumni who have danced, whether it's been on Zion or whether the Albright College dance team or in other settings, because they're very proud of what they've accomplished.
Yeah.
And it's often been really wonderful performances and an educational process. And if they know that you're doing this, they're going to be eager to talk to you, and they're going to feel so grateful that somebody's appreciating those past efforts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really passionate about dance, and
Yeah,
it's
I know
something that, and it's something I look forward to teaching, because I'm the new president of the Albright College dance team, and
Great.
so I'm kind of devising a new curriculum for the club, which it sounds funny to say that, like, as a club that I'm devising a lesson plan, but it's kind of like what the team wants. We've all said that we want to learn more dance, we want to do more dance, do more choreography, basketball games, football games, our dance showcase. So it's like, if all these people here are presently wanting to learn dance, and we have a whole other dance team that does a different type of dance that they love learning, they do it in a rigorous format, who says that other people don't want that as well? And that's kind of what my basis of the research is all about.
Yeah, I have to say that if people are thinking about basketball games and maybe think of more of a athletic or kind of a cheerleader style of dance, that's the Albright College dance team has gone well beyond that genre, and has done, because you're drawing on people with very different trainings.
Yeah.
People come in with 11 years of ballet already when they're 18 years old, or people who've learned jazz, or who are proficient in hip hop, and the dance team becomes kind of a meeting place of all of those styles and that past training.
100%. It's really fun to be a part of Albright College dance team because, like you said, everyone has different backgrounds. Like I come from a place where I was self-taught in middle school. I used the chair as a bar and learned ballet through YouTube. And then I got to high school, and through my high school, they actually had a dance program that I never knew about. And I joined it, and I got to learn through different methodology that my teacher, Miss Taylor, taught me, where we went through units where it was like the ballet unit, the jazz unit, the modern unit, the choreography unit. And we also learned terminology and dance and like the brain dance, where you got to go from head to toe about learning about your body. And it's just being able to bring that towards teaching it to my fellow club members, and then them being like, oh, well, I've done ballet since middle school. I've only done house dance and all this stuff, and just being able to combine it. It's really unique to be able to see everyone dance differently, but still express it the same and how much they love it. It's one of my favorite things.
Yeah, it becomes a moment of mutual education as well. So there's not the usual hierarchy that you might find in a performing group or in a classroom, where there's the expert with a degree and credentials telling people how to do something. But you're coming from these different spaces, different high school backgrounds, and just sort of sharing in a respectful way, in an appreciative way. Yeah, I've always been a fan of Albright dancers because it seems to me they really make our diverse and multicultural campus work.
I definitely agree.
Yeah, and over the years too, we've also brought dance troupes in.
Yes.
And that kind of has fallen by the wayside for different reasons, and that's something that could come out of this as well as a research goal. Is it time to maybe have the touring African troupe that came
Step
come back?
Africa's
Step
been
Africa,
here twice, and they've been fabulous.
Yeah, so there is a history here, but there's also a history across Berks. I mean, we have Berks Ballet, we have lots of different groups that have also in the community kept dance alive. Barrio Alegria has been part of that. So if you start to think about it, dance is important culturally, and as you know, as a historian, one of the earliest forms of communication. And so I think it's really a great scholarly endeavor to undertake, but it's also great physically, it's great intellectually to kind of stimulate all those different parts of our bodies, our mind, our physicality, and all of that. So I'm excited to see what comes out of this too, especially if we get an actual performance, which is another goal that we've been talking about. So
that would be great.
Yeah, so every spring semester around late April, early May, we do a dance showcase.
Yes.
Where we pretty much make our own dances. We'll have group dances, solos, duets, trios, whatever. My goal with this acre is to actually put all of the information that I gathered and put it in the dance showcase format, where we'll base it on all the findings that I've had. So I want to research belly dancing, so I would love to invite a belly dance troupe or do it ourselves with them. I would love to do a hip hop, ballet, jazz, musical theater, pretty much cultivate all of it together into one giant showcase where they can all see it live. They can see the dance. I don't want to just talk about it and be like, oh, this is jazz dance. This is what it's about. It's people seeing it and experiencing it.
Yeah, it's one of those art forms that has to be seen, has to be there tactile and live in front of your eyes, and feeling the music along with the dancers on stage.
Exactly, yeah. And I'm excited because I actually have support from people who do tech. Like I have people who don't like dancing, but they love dance. And so they were like, hey, can I help design the lights for it and the look of it and everything like that? And it's really inspiring to see people support it even if they don't necessarily dance. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, you'll probably be able to find a dance photographer that'll come along to that show as well.
And I would love that.
Dance photography is easier than people think it is.
Really?
As long as you're a little bit musical and you're moving and you're anticipating the height of the jump and the height of the kick and everything, right? You just click right at that right moment and
that's perfect.
And you've got it. So I love doing that. And I do have a visual archive that you can dig into as well as you pursue this. Now, are you going to be communicating with all the various dance groups on campus? Are you going to talk with Zion as well as the dance team?
Yeah, so I'm a part of, I got the dance team portion as I'm the president.
Yeah.
Zion, however, I'm emailing them as of now, actually. I started
Great.
talking to them a little bit and asking them questions about what their schedule's like and if they wanted to be a part of the experience and such. And so far, it's looking like we're going to have a big collaboration, which
Yeah.
I'm super excited about.
I know for years now when the Albright College dance team has its showcase, they invite Zion to come and do a number, and vice versa. When Zion has their showcase, they ask you guys to come and do a performance as well. So that sort of cross-fertilization is already part of the tradition.
100%.
Yeah, we haven't really talked about it, but when you were mentioning, John, that there have been so many alums that have done either, put their own showcases together or performed in small pieces, that might be another thing for us to research is those alums and reach out to them to say, even if you just want to come and see the showcase, but also maybe perform as well. Invite them to come back and perform. Might be.
Yeah, people can dance beyond the age of 22.
That's right.
And as long as they do some stretching every day, I bet you they'd love to do that.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
well, I'll
You've given us good
I'm
ideas.
going to be doing some research on your researches as well. Now, one of the traditions I know for the Acre is that you have lunch as a whole group every Wednesday, and get to hear, get to not only present your own research, but hear about everybody else's in fields that maybe you don't know anything about. Are you looking forward to that?
I'm looking very forward to it. Me and David have cooked up a little plan as we have our 2-minute pitches
Yep.
next week.
The elevator pitch.
This week, actually. Oh gosh,
Yeah.
where we're gonna pitch our ideas and like what we're researching about. And since my field is dance, we both came up with the idea that maybe I should do a little dancey dance at the beginning of the pitch, just a little hook.
I think so.
Yeah, and it's really exciting because I'm actually interested in what the other acres are because we have a lot of different things. We have usage of AI in music. We have children's books, storytelling. We have
Digital art.
digital art. We
Yeah.
have so many things. A video game one.
History of World War I.
Yep, and just a lot of them that I never really thought to research because that's not my field. But I love hearing other people be passionate about what they're learning and researching, and I'm super excited to see what they do with it as well.
And at least one very original musician, Ben Roth, who's just a fabulous guitarist. I don't know if you've gotten to hear him play.
I have actually, and it's astounding, and I'm super excited to hear his pitch. I told him that he should bring his guitar and everything, so
Yeah.
hopefully he does.
Yeah, no, he plays things that you could find ways to move to that in really meaningful ways. Yeah.
100%.
Well, I've been now, this is my third acre that I've done with a student. It's such an enriching experience. I'm always struck by the mix of projects that get funded.
Yep.
Usually there's science, there's art, there's humanities, all of that. This year, I was surprised there were not as many science, but
Not as many.
yeah, but that's always something that is new for me, is reaching out and hearing those students who are impassioned by something that for me totally escapes my realm of understanding, but the energy and the enthusiasm is what really does pull you in. And so, I mean, I've learned things about isotopes that you would never guess, right? Like, I had no idea all those things could attach and form the crystals that they form, or whatever it is that they're doing. Their research on bat populations and all of those kinds of things. Those are some of the fun things that have stuck with me over the years. So I'm interested to see, and I know that this is going to stick with people. People are going to be excited to see what happens out of your research.
Yeah, I remember that Lawrence Morrison, our English department, once assigned his Acre student, Ryan Krause, who was working on Arthurian legend. He said, "Ryan, think of a question for each of the presenters. Raise your hand at the end and ask them something that you found intriguing." And so he took that as an assignment and he went with it. And yeah, it really, everybody's head was engaged in everybody else's
Yeah, we should definitely do
process.
that. Yeah. I do think it's a great program though too, because just this last week we had Charlotte Palmer in
Yes.
from the Experiential Learning and Career Development Center to talk about this idea of the elevator pitch, but then also how you present your research at conferences, so kind of professionally, and then that third form, which they'll do when they present back to campus and their peers. So those three different types of communication styles to present research, I think, is really important. So there's this learning curve that goes throughout this whole program, and it's really a unique program. I've never been at another school that has had this kind of a program.
Right.
Certainly, undergraduate research, yes, but not the collaborative way that you see it here, where students do engage in each other's research, even if it's not in the same field. It's really an interesting concept.
Yeah, I think it's done very well. It's not simply students signing on as research assistants to a
Exactly.
faculty scholar. It's very often the curiosity and the initiative is coming from the student, and then it forms a very equal partnership.
Absolutely. I mean, Lucy is the one that brought this idea forward, brought it to Jeff and I, and we kind of meshed it into something that would work for us as well. But this was really your passion, so.
Yeah, I remember when it was a random day, and I was doing dance practice, and I was like, I want to do an acre, and I wanted to be dance based, and it was really hard to find like the proper topic because there's so many things I could have done. I could have done history of musical theater. I could have done dance teams and their luck and all these different things. And I remember sitting down with David, and me and David really talking about what we wanted this acre to be about, and we landed on like the history of like Albright College and its dance and how colleges function with dance. And I'm really happy that we got to be where we are with this topic because it's really proving fruitful in my research and such.
No, I think it's going to be just wonderful.
100%.
Goodness, yeah. Your predecessor as president of the dance team, of course, did several acres, but never one on the history of Albright dance. She did one in mathematics and another in psychology, her two majors. But she'll probably be jealous. But she'll probably help inform you on her own experience with the dance team.
100%. She gave me the dance team rule book, and I've already gotten a lot of information out of that rule book with like alumni names and costumes and how to buy them, and pretty much like our ritual of like how we do the dance and what events we do and other things like that. And one of the things that we used to do actually was the dance team invitational, which I'm planning to try to bring back this year. We stopped doing it unfortunately because of COVID, but I think this year is a year I'm going to try to bring it back, where we invite high school troops to come and perform. We do other college troops. We do troops in Berks. We do other dance troops to all come together and do workshops, do a whole performance. And I'm really hoping to be able to bring that back because I feel like that's a really nice experience for students to have. And also as a dancer, it's nice to see other troops and get inspiration from them and be able to see what they're doing and be like, oh, I should do something like that.
It's wonderful to have other dancers in the audience because they are the most appreciative. They understand the effort that you've put in, the skill that you're demonstrating.
100% yes.
Yeah, and that's something that Zion, of course, has done in the past. I know for several years running, they would invite the dance team at Reading High to come and perform, and I think we actually got several wonderful Albright students out of that communication. They came to the big school up there on North 13th Street and said, "Oh, this is a pretty friendly place, and I can continue some of my passions in an extracurricular way that's nevertheless really meaningful."
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, so we'll definitely add that to our list to reach out to all of those folks and try to reactivate that great part of history that, I mean, the pandemic kind of ceased a lot of different things, and so it's time to bring some of that back for sure. I know one of my most rewarding experiences with dance on campus was the year, and as John knows, because you've had me on almost every August to talk about the season, and I always bring the magazine. And the year that I featured Zion on the cover was super meaningful. It's one of my favorite magazines that we've done in the 13, 14 years. But I had kind of kept it a secret, and you've seen it because I showed you that magazine. I kept it a secret and unveiled it kind of at the art fair that we always have at the beginning of the year. And the students in Zion were so, like, they were crying, they were so happy to see that they had finally been recognized on campus. Because I think that might have been the first year that we actually put them in the magazine too, to say these are their dates, come to their shows. And so we've really worked collaboratively, I think, across campus, and it's time to just reactivate all of that and bring the community back in, have them, invite them to come see all of this, and that's a great way to do that. So we'll reach out to the Red Knights for sure.
Yeah, I think people who are lost on their screens need to learn that habit of appreciation and interest in what other folks are doing.
Yeah.
Because it's so much more gratifying to be with other people and communicate directly.
Yeah, for sure.
I agree.
Yeah. Oh, this is great. Well, congratulations on coming up with this wonderful idea, and best of luck on your research, and I'll try to be helpful in any way that I can.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
For
I'm
sure.
super honored. I'm so excited to do this research and to give all this information to Albright and see what we can do with it all together as a unit.
Yeah, it's going to help us build for the future. Good.
So do we have time for one question for you, sir?
Sure,
Because you have done acres in the past before.
I have.
Any thoughts on your next acre that you might do with
Oh,
the
goodness
students?
sakes. I'm supposed to take a sabbatical next spring. So I'm going to have to do the Albright Scholar via Zoom or something like that, because I'm going to be in northwestern Spain.
Wow.
But we'll see. We'll see. It may be something transoceanic in its
Interesting.
perspective.
Yeah. Well, your last project, I mean, we have had some great projects from you, but the last time that you have kind of focused on the community, we have had now twice that you've done that with your
The
photo
Faces of
series.
Reading.
Yeah.
Yep. Well,
so-
it's almost time for the 20-year anniversary.
I was wondering, I was
So
going to ask.
that may well happen next year.
Awesome. All right. All right.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you. Well, great. Well, thanks to all of you as well for joining us. It looks like we're going to have some wonderful things to see and participate in up at Albright in the coming year. We'll see you again talking about more acre research in the July edition of the Albright Scholar. Thanks for being with us.